Well, welcome to a new Dave's Workshop Tours video, and this time I'm in Melbourne South at Pete's Classic Garage. It's pretty obvious what he's into. Let's go inside and find out what's going on. Fords are definitely the order of the day around here, as you can see. But it's not just Mustangs that this one-man workshop takes on. All right, Pete, thanks very much for letting us come by today. Tell us a little bit about the business.
We fix Fords, really, most of the time. We have done other things, Jaguars, BMWs, but I like to fix Fords. I'm good with old Fords with steel bumper bars. After 1970, not so much. Look, there's plenty of work out there anyway. You know, you've got to have a cut-off somewhere. So apart from servicing the couple of modern Mustangs I have, no, we don't. You know, we only do old Fords.
And the Mustangs, were they imported during the day? Are they Australian delivered, or some?
Some have been. Yeah, some have been. That's pretty rare though. Most right-hand drives you find have been imported a long time ago because you had to make them right-hand drive. But now there's so many left-handers.
People are prepared to live with the left hand.
Men are. Women aren't. When you put them in the passenger seat, they're not very excited about that.
Going
right?
around
Well, no, you go past a truck down the freeway, you know, and you go to pull out. She knows more than you do, and she can see what's happening, but you can't, and that can be exciting. I know because I do it myself when I have a left-hand drive ute, and you pull out behind a truck, and there's a lot of car out there before you go past.
Absolutely. Okay, what have we got behind you?
Well, that was my first Mustang actually. I found that in China in 1995. It was a road registered Hong Kong car and a race car at the same time. And it raced in Macau, the Philippines, China, mainly Malaysia, in places like Zuhori, and that's in China, and Shah Alam, Pasigadang. That was my first car.
Can you tell us a little bit about the spec on it?
It's had a lot of different specs. It's had a 383 Cleveland. It now has a 363 Windsor. It's a dog box, torque sensing 9-inch, 4-link, coilover all round. It's a good car, it's quick.
Does it get out much?
It'll be leaving shortly actually to go to Winton. A girl's been driving it for a couple of years, I think. It's been dormant for a couple of years,
well,
but they'll get it out again.
A lot of things have been dormant in the last couple of years, eh?
Everything's been dormant for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And really that's the reason it hadn't been out, you know, you can't go out, and now you can. So I'm putting a hydraulic handbrake in it the next couple of weeks, and off it'll go.
So are you finding a lot of cars that have stood dormant for a long time are getting recommissioned now?
I don't know, we don't actually do that much work for the public really. Most of my work's been for collectors, and you have one person keep you busy for years.
Right.
That's, for me, is easier than 10 guys in a day.
Yeah.
I deal with one a year. I don't know, so what's happening out there? Yeah. Not really sure.
Not really sure.
Not really sure, no.
And these guys that, are they using, or are they just sitting down with a cigar and a glass of whiskey?
Using them. No, they're users. Most of the people I've had have been users. I tend to end up leaving one to go to the next, and go to the next, to go to the next. And it's sort of always been like that. You know, we still do a little bit of public work, but not a lot.
And what's this one here? What have we got here?
This one's for sale. Just a normal C-code fastback. Trouble is, at the moment, I think there's 15 fastbacks for sale, and there's never more than 3 or 4 in Australia for sale.
Right. Is that current climate?
Current climate. All of a sudden they're just... Oh, that, and look, they're a $100,000 car now.
Sure.
You know, 2 years ago they were a $50,000 car, $60,000 car. Yeah. And for some reason the market right now is just flooded with them. And that's Australian ones. Right. You know, that's a lot for us. Yeah. In our marketplace.
So is this one you've worked on?
Yeah, I've done a little bit to it. No, it's a customer's.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Customers have them for 3 to 5 years, and then they ask you to get rid of it for them. They're not in the mood to stand in the garage and negotiate.
Right.
You know, it's
Okay.
sort of...
Cool. Okay, what's what we got out the back?
Yeah, come on, let's have a look at the rest of it.
Okay, what do we got here then, Pete?
It's an XM Falcon coupe, Australian. Been in the garage since 1980. Funny story, actually. His mother rang him and said, "You need to come and get your car." He said, "What car?" "You need to come and get your car." And he went there, and this was sitting in the shed. It was his uncle's. And he obviously passed away, and he found out he'd inherited a two-door Falcon coupe.
Wow. Wow.
And then, but it's here because it was a six-cylinder, and now he's having a V8 put in it and automatic. And
So you build the engines?
this one, someone did all the machining and just brought it to me in bits, and I assembled it. So look, it's been in the process for a long time. It's getting there. We're just doing all the retractable belts inside it now, because it's got to have retractable in the back and the front. And then we'll put the headlining and the glass in, close it up a little bit more.
Are these aftermarket pieces, the belts and whatever, specifically for this, or would it be...
Just to pass ADR, you've got to have modern standard seat belts.
Yeah.
That, and you've got to update it to disc brakes.
You've got to update it to disc brakes, or
Update it to disc brakes.
it has to be, or...
It's got to meet certain braking requirements.
Right.
But we do our own caliper bracket for these, and we put Mustang 4-piston calipers on them.
The two-door, that would have been available this shape in America, yeah?
Well, pretty close. Ours is slightly different.
But in the interests of Australian Falcon fans, where would this model stand?
Right, everybody would have this one. Well, everyone would like to have this one, yes. Yeah, this one or that one over there.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
we'll come to...
This is an M, and that's a P. This is another. This is a little bit rarer. This is a genuine Futura. So this comes with the bucket seats and console and all the blingy bits that the poverty pack cars didn't have.
Right, right. So this is the top line sort of sport.
This is the top of the line one, yes, for the day, and it was factory white with red interior, American leather,
Right.
you know, cotton back.
Uh-huh.
But it came in one day, and it had a crossflow Falcon 6-cylinder motor in it, and I'd never met the guy before, and he said, "Can you put a V8 in it?" And he left that and some money, and off he went. And I think he's owned it for 25 to 30 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So, yeah, he's had it a long time.
Uh-huh.
And
This would be the one to have, I guess, the Futura.
this is the one to have. Yeah, Futura. The Futura is the one to have.
Was that a brand, a name used in America?
Yes, yeah, same thing. Wouldn't quite correspond with what we've got, but they had the Sprint. We didn't get the Sprint. But then you're talking Falcon stuff that I could be wrong on.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Well, this, of course, would be, I mean, a large model by, well, a compact in America, but how would it stand against...
Well, we didn't really have bigger cars than this, unless it was imported from the States anyway. Underneath, it's all Mustangs.
Right.
Yeah, the front suspension out of that car fits in that car.
Right.
Majority of it.
And so what are you actually doing to this car today?
It's not far off being delivered. We're just doing the air conditioning now. He's a Melbourne boy that's been living and working in Hong Kong. Everything has aircon. So the Falcon's going to have aircon. It's nearly finished. We've just got 2 hoses to do and he'll get his car back.
How does this drive compared to a Mustang, given that it's pretty much the same underneath?
This is probably drives a little bit better. This has a drop stub axle in it, so the roll centre's probably a bit higher in this than it would be in that. That's probably the main factor that sort of makes them drive nice. It is fairly low. Yeah, the drop stub axle really makes them handle.
So, what's up top?
58 Corvette. This is somebody's unfinished project. Came out of Queensland. It is right-hand drive, but we're not sure if the government know it's right-hand drive. It's a complicated one. A man's bought this car and He wants it right-hand drive, and it's not registered as right-hand drive, so it'll have to be re-engineered. And it means the right-hand drive that he does have is illegal because it needs to have a collapsible column, it'll need to have dual circuit brakes, it'll need to pass a brake test, which it probably won't with those drum brakes. It's a bit of a, it's going to cost him more money. It's not as simple as he thought it was.
Did it come in this state to you, or?
Yeah, no, it came here like this. Yes, that's how it came here. I built the motor for it without the car. We just did the motor for it. It looks quite concourse, the motor. It's a 283 small block. So it's a fairly standard motor. And the gearbox was done down the road, but he went off to my electrician and people that we use, and then it's come here, and I've just got to make it start and run, and then he'll work out what he's going to do about the right-hand drive.
Can you see much work being done?
It's a tricky one. I'm reluctant to spend his money because you're going to have to do it again. I've sent him off to find out what's happening. You need to check with the government, and let's do it all once instead of doing it twice.
Sure.
You know, you're going to spend 10 grand in the first bill, only to redo it all again to find out it's going to be.
Yeah. So
he needs to go away and find out some information. Yeah. And let's do it properly. We've done one before. We did a 59. It was a right-hand drive Corvette already, and he was only a little short man. Couldn't push the clutch in; it was too heavy. And he lived in Paran. Couldn't turn the steering wheel. So we put power steering in it with a close ratio box with an electric pump, and then we just got the hydraulic ratio right, and it was, you could push it in with a hand, right, and you could turn it like that. And, we just made it user friendly, if that makes any sense.
Sure.
And that's what he needs to do, is make it user friendly.
Yeah.
The more user friendly they are, the more you'll use them.
Yeah.
You know, I could make this Falcon handle better, but it would become less user friendly. Right. The steering would become heavy.
Yeah, sure.
And wouldn't be nice to drive. So it's always a little bit of a compromise between outright performance and really making it nice to drive.
Yeah, yeah.
And the nicer they are to drive, the more you'll drive them. The worse they are, you just won't drive them. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's a little bit what we look to do here, if we're doing something for someone, is make it user friendly.
Right. And as presumably the years creep on with owners and whatever, the more user friendly they are, the more likely that, like you said, they're going to use them and what have you.
That's the thing. Yeah. It's like that orange race car in there. That thing is so easy to drive for a racing car. Mm-hmm. You could drive it home. Mm-hmm. You know, the clutch is soft, the brake pedal's reactive, the accelerator's pretty reactive. It steers and does what you want it to do.
Great stuff. Okay, mate. All right. So another part of your business is renting these Mustangs out.
That's correct. Yes, we've got a 265s, a 66, a 67, a 2017. I've just bought another one from the States, a 65, which I'll convert to right-hand drive myself. And I've got another 17 coming, I think, but we'll see.
2017?
2017,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 2017, yeah.
And the business is strong?
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Is there much work to do to, on the upkeep of these cars when the rental business?
Upkeep's not so much, but it's the initial technical and financial investment to make them daily drivable or reliable or not breaking down at the 12 Apostles. That's the trick. We buy good bits. We service them every 5,000 Ks. We go through the car to make sure nothing's happening, because I don't have free time to run down to the coast all the time.
Sure. And
it's been great, as long as you stay on top of them. And we don't have any electric fans, actually. That's been the biggest trick. Our biggest breakdown was a bad earth, one bad connection, a fuse, and always to do with the electric fan. So they're all mechanical fanned.
And they're all automatic, are they? Or?
They're all automatic.
Right.
They're all automatic, they're all right-hand drive, they've all got power steering, they've all got electric roofs.
User-friendly.
They're user-friendly, and all the instruments are in kilometres, just to simplify it for everybody. And this one's just had a paint job. It wasn't anything wrong with it, and people weren't upset with it, but it was just a little bit tired looking. And they are still my cars, so I like them to look as good as they can look.
Great stuff. Okay.
You know, it's still a beautiful car.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Well, and so we've got the holding bay out the back, I believe.
Yeah, come on, we'll go and have a look. The waiting area.
Hold that thought, as that's all we've got time for in this episode of Dave's Workshop Tours. Whoa. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell for when we get to see some of Pete's other projects, including a controversial modification and a rather juicy ute he uses for business sometimes.
I don't drive it every day, it's not very economical.
In the meantime, if Mustangs are your thing, then don't hesitate to watch this True Track suspension episode featuring two fastbacks of a very different persuasion.